All right, how you guys doing? We just hopping into, I believe we are on Genesis 37, and we should do 38 as well, provided that it's not a 60 verse long chapter. You see the little sparkles is because we got snow. We got snow and it's falling and everything, and it's all up in this thing. And it makes it look shiny and cool. I rock with it. Little design choice, but yeah, we gonna get into it. And Jacob dwelt in the land therein where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. And these are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, the sons of Zilpah, whose father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father the evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was a son of his old age, and made him a coat of many colors. And when his brothers saw that his father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf alone rose and stood upright, and made obeisance unto my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, Behold, I have a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and my mother and thy brother indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying, and his brethren went to feed their flocks in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here I am. And he said unto him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. But they said to one another, Behold, this dreameth cometh. Now, behold, therefore let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say some evil beast devoured him, and we will see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto him, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, and to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph come unto his brethren, they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. They sat down to eat bread. They lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, the company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, and carrying it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother in our flesh. And his brethren were content. And there they passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew him and lifted Joseph up out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes, and he returned to his brethren, The child is not, and I, whither I shall go. He took Joseph's coat, killed the kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and brought it to their father, and said, This is what we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and he said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is within doubt, rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put his sackcloth on his loins, and mourned his son for many days. And all his sons and his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, for he said, I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh, and captain of the guard. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren, and turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hera. And Judah saw their daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name Er. And she conceived again and bare a son, and called his name Onan. And she conceived yet again and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib, where she bare him. And Judah took a wife for Er, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went to his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown, for he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelled in her father's house. And in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted and went up to his sheep shearers to Timnath, and he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told to Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear sheep. And she put on the widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she had not given him unto wife. And when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that I may come unto thee? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge, that thou wilt send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and the staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it to her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by a veil and from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of the friends of the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the man of the place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There is no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said, There is no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass that about 3 months after that it was told to Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law had played the harlot. It was also, behold, she was with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. And when she was brought forth, she said to her father-in-law, saying, By the men whose these are, I am with child. And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet, the bracelet, and the staff? And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because I gave her not much to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed, that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound it upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out, and said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward his brother came out, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. And that'll be that for that. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.